Imagine a man who bridged religions, whose every word held the promise of deeper truths, and whose life remains a tale that questions boundaries. Today, we dive into the extraordinary life of Kabir Das, a life filled with love, courage, and a mystery that leaves us breathless even today. Welcome to Enigmatic Ends, the channel that brings you the untold stories, the hidden mysteries, and the final enigmatic chapters of the world's greatest figures. Let's embark on this journey together and discover the legend that is Kabir. Kabir Das, the saint poet of India, was a beacon of wisdom, unity, and devotion. Born in the 15th century, Kabir's words transcended divisions of religion, caste, and status. His verses touched upon the universal truths of human existence, inspiring people across faiths. He did not merely speak of harmony, he lived it, embracing both Hindu and Muslim followers. His life was a bold challenge to societal norms that divided humanity. Kabir did not just live, he awakened consciousness, bringing light to a world clouded by prejudice, and in the process, became a guiding star for generations to come. Kabir was said to have been born miraculously to a Hindu widow and later adopted by a humble Muslim weaver family. His very birth was shrouded in mystery and wonder. From early on, his life was filled with signs of the divine. The story goes that as a baby, he was found by the riverbank, floating serenely on a lotus leaf. Imagine the scene, the sun rising over the horizon, illuminating a baby cradled by a lotus flower, untouched by the world's chaos. Another version of the legend claims that Kabir was born out of divine light, with celestial beings singing praises, and the lotus flower symbolizing purity and enlightenment. Even in his infancy, he was seen as a miracle, as if the universe itself had conspired to bring him here. The simplicity of his upbringing could not contain the depth of his spiritual essence. Even as a young child, Kabir displayed an otherworldly wisdom that baffled those around him. One well-known anecdote describes how, as a boy, Kabir would meditate by the banks of the river, lost in deep contemplation. Once, when his adoptive mother, Nima, went looking for him, she found him surrounded by a radiant light, as if he had transcended his physical presence. It was as if Kabir was not of this world, his spirit seemed to belong to something far greater, something beyond. The grasp of human understanding. It was said that when Kabir spoke, even as a child, his words carried the weight of profound truth, and many villagers believed he was a divine incarnation. His presence had a way of quieting the doubts in others, bringing clarity to even the most confused hearts. He spoke of love, of the divine, and of the power within each of us. His words were not bound by education or lineage, but seemed to emerge directly from an eternal source of truth. Kabir, through his couplets, addressed the greatest mysteries of life, birth, death, and the divine, with an astonishing clarity that moved even the most skeptical minds. His wisdom was beyond formal education, it was a gift, pure and simple. There are stories of Kabir fearlessly debating both Hindu priests and Muslim scholars, often leaving them awestruck and speechless with his simple yet powerful insights. He would often say, "The truth is simple, but only the heart can understand it." Those words touched the deepest corners of the soul, reminding us all that the greatest truths in life are often the simplest. The supernatural always seemed to be part of Kabir's journey. According to some accounts, Kabir descended from heaven to earth, and as a baby, he was discovered on a lotus flower amidst the river, highlighting his divine origins. During his life, he faced persecution many times, and yet each time he emerged unscathed, as if protected by forces beyond our comprehension. There are stories of how, even in times of danger, Kabir disappeared from plain sight, as if becoming one with the very air around him. During one such instance, when a powerful ruler attempted to imprison Kabir for his teachings, it is said that Kabir vanished from the locked cell, only to reappear in his weaver's hut, calmly working at his loom. These miraculous escapes became the stuff of legend, and people began to see him not just as a saint, but as a living embodiment of divine love and grace. Some say he performed miracles, like bringing rain in times of drought simply by reciting his couplets, or healing the sick with just his words. One story tells of a poor farmer who approached Kabir, desperate for help during a severe drought. The farmer's eyes were filled with tears, his voice shaky with fear of losing everything he had. Kabir, moved by the farmer's plight, looked up at the sky, his eyes full of compassion. He sang a doha, couplet, to the heavens, and soon after, the rains began to pour, saving the farmer's crops. The farmer fell to Kabir's feet, his heart overflowing with gratitude. Kabir simply smiled, reminding him that true faith can move mountains or even call down the rain. His essence seemed to belong to realms beyond the ordinary, always enveloped in a shroud of mystical presence. The death of Kabir Das remains as mysterious as his life. The end came in Maghar, a place believed by many to be cursed. It was said that anyone who died in Maghar would never attain liberation. Yet Kabir, unafraid of worldly superstitions, chose to spend his final days there. Imagine the courage it took to defy such deeply rooted beliefs, to walk into a place shunned by many, knowing the whispers and judgments that would follow. Kabir's very act of choosing this place was a declaration of his belief that liberation was not determined by a piece of land but by the purity of one's soul. According to historical accounts, Kabir's decision to die in Maghar was a bold statement against the superstitions held by the masses. Kabir's teachings always emphasized that true devotion was beyond rituals and geographical boundaries. He wanted to show the world that the divine does not differentiate between places, it is present everywhere. This bold move was a testament to his belief that one's soul could not be confined by the limitations of superstition. But it wasn't just the location of his death that left people speechless, it was what happened afterward that truly ignited the legend of Kabir. As he breathed his last, both Hindu and Muslim followers gathered around his body. A fierce debate ensued. The Hindus wanted to cremate his body as per their rituals, while the Muslims insisted on a burial. Tensions were high, emotions raw, and just as it seemed conflict was inevitable, something incredible occurred. When the followers lifted the shroud covering Kabir's body, they found nothing but a heap of flowers. The body had vanished, leaving behind only an undeniable mystery. Stunned, the followers decided to divide the flowers. Half were cremated, and the other half were buried. This event became a testament to Kabir's lifelong message of unity. Even in death, he transcended the divide between religions, leaving only the fragrance of oneness. Historical texts and oral traditions provide various accounts of how this miraculous event unfolded, but all point to the same lesson. Kabir's teachings transcended religious boundaries, and his life and death were dedicated to bringing people together under the banner of love and devotion. Even today, both Hindus and Muslims revere the sites where the flowers were divided, further cementing Kabir's legacy of unity. There are those who claim to have visions of Kabir even after his physical departure. His voice, some say, has been heard in moments of deep meditation, whispering truths that shake the core of one's being. Was this disappearance a final miracle, a divine intervention to leave behind a lesson? Or was it Kabir's way of dissolving into the cosmos, reminding us that the essence of truth cannot be contained? Kabir Das's life and death remind us that true wisdom and love transcend boundaries, and that the mysteries of existence are far greater than our understanding. He lived as a poet, a mystic, and a revolutionary thinker, but he departed as a mystery, leaving behind a fragrance of flowers, a message of unity, and questions that remain unanswered even today. Perhaps, Kabir's greatest lesson was this, that the mystery of life and death is something to be embraced, not feared. Thank you for joining us on this mysterious journey through the life and death of Kabir Das. If you felt moved by the depth of his story, if his life has touched you, then make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you don't miss the next fascinating tale of Enigmatic Ends, where we explore the hidden mysteries of the world's greatest souls. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep the mystery alive.